morning, everyone.
Hi.
So, I'm Madame Cassie, nutritionist here at Sparkle Lifestyle and Midi Spa.
And I'm Annie Poirier, registered dietitian.
So we are answering the most frequently asked question that we have, and I think the number one question that we get, or maybe not the number one, but the first question that we probably get after a client receives a meal plan is how to add some
variety.
Sorry, my tongue's not going in that direction this morning. So yeah, so if so it can get pretty boring when you're eating the same thing over and over. Some people are really comfortable eating the same thing. I'm one of those, but some others not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So before we jumped into it, I just want to explain how we do meal plan here. So if you guys are a client of ours, you got a meal plan that's usually custom, 100% custom. If you're in the Sparkle Lounge, it's more generic, but at least it gives you an idea. So usually we divide your day. We choose how many calorie that you need depending on your activity level and goals and all that. Then we divide into how much carbs, fat, protein that you require for that day. Everybody's different because you need to realize that eating 2,000 calories worth of Skittle will not give you the same results as 2,000 calorie worth of chicken and vegetables.
Unfortunately.
Exactly. So that's why we divide into how many grams of carbs, fat, protein that you do need in one day. And then we break it down in how many meals that you should be having in one day. Some people it's more, some people it's less. Everybody's different. Mm-hmm. That's where it's really nice to have a custom meal plan designed for you because we can really make sure that everything is organized properly. But even within those meals, we do divide on how many portion of carbs, fat, and protein that you do require to make everything kind of work perfectly. Mm-hmm. Because again, you want to eat a certain amount of time in one day, but you cannot just eat carbs or just protein. There's a nice balance that you will require. So that's kind of how we divide it. So we divide meal, snack, how many carbs, fat, protein that you should be having per day. And we do give example on that meal plan just so it kind of match. An example, if I'm telling you that you need to have one portion of carbs, fat, protein, and then a fruit, I will say that half a cup of oatmeal is an example of carbs. Half a cup of egg white is your protein, like an apple, the music, and then the fat is it's a portion of healthy fat. So that's how we divide it. But we also give you a sheet that's called food list and portion that if you're a client you will receive. If you're a member of our online platform, you will be able to download. But those two need to be together. You can't just follow meal plan or just following the healthy food list. They really go side by side. And I want you to explain a little bit how that sheet works.
Mm-hmm. So typically what we do on the meal plan, Madeleine just said, is we design like an example of what that looks like in terms of portion that's refined for you. Now the food list, we give that one to everybody. And Madeleine and I actually designed that food list on purpose because everything on that list is probably what we think is the healthiest in there, more nutrient dense, but it's also a bank of information that you can pick different food in that list to replace what you may not necessarily want on a meal plan. So typically maybe the first week or two I say, you can kind of follow to a T the meal plan just to get into a rhythm, to get into the habit of things and to know how much food, your portion size. Then you can use the food list to replace certain foods. So each line pretty much on your meal plan represents a food group. So whether it's carbs, protein, fat, and on the meal plan there'll be a category there, and all food is from a certain category, and that's what we want you to respect. So for example, if you want to replace a fat, you should replace it for a different fat. So the fat that's indicated there in that quantity is what you should be having. But let's say you don't want to have that, go into the fat list that you have on the spare and look and pick the one that you want. Mm-hmm. But always refer to your portion size on your customized meal plan, especially. Yeah. Because the food list is still general for everybody, for all the clients, they'll get it. So it's all the same. What's the difference is in your meal plan. So that's the important thing. But we never really want you to have the same foods over and over and over, because that way you'd be getting the same nutrients over and over and over, and then it would get really boring too.
Yeah.
Right? So have fun, add variety, but refer to that list. So don't keep it too far. This should be, like you said, side by side. Those are your two biggest tools you'll use, and the more you use them, the more familiar you'll get, the easier you'll get, and the less thinking you'll have to do.
No, exactly. So let's say that you want to be creative. Like I wanted to have a sandwich, and sandwich maybe is not typically on your meal plan, but if you look at what you should be eating for lunch, you're supposed to have one portion of carbs, one portion of fat, a portion of vegetables, and protein. That's what, and then it gives you the quantity of it. So if I go on my my list, my healthy food list, I see that, let's say, I can have two slices of the tin slice silver hill. So I can have 2 slices of that. And also a portion of protein is about 4 ounces of meat. So maybe 4 ounces on a sandwich is a little bit too much. So I'll maybe put 2 ounces on my sandwich, but I can have maybe 2 egg whites on the side. Or actually what I did yesterday, because I'm using this example, I actually put my egg whites, I sliced them and put it in my sandwich. That was kind of interesting. I'm allowed to have 1 portion of fat. I decided to go 50-50 between cheese and avocado. That's what I decided to go. And what else? Oh yeah, so I had tomatoes and lettuce in my sandwich. So see, the sandwich is not really on the meal plan, but if you're getting creative, you can create your own type of food. I mean, you can create your own stir fries. Maybe you'll realize that the portion may change though. Maybe before you were using a bunch of rice, now you can still have your rice, maybe a little bit less, but more vegetables. So you might notice that the food that you used to like or enjoy, you can still have it. It's just on a different proportion.
Yep.
And be creative. Try to really, play with it and just find healthier version of it. And we're here to help. So if you're not sure how to mix match everything, I think that's really good. And also I found, let's say that you're on the go, something happened, you left with your sandwich on a table or something, and you go at Tim Horton, okay? It was not on your meal plan, but I felt like sometimes people get the attitude that, oh, I screwed up, might as well screwing up my entire life, the entire day. We'll start back today, but you need to accept that sometimes it happened. But I found like using my FitnessPal or a tool like that, you will put your muffin in your FitnessPal, you'll realize that maybe that muffin was maybe 2 portions of fat. So maybe 1 portion too much that what you were supposed to have for that breakfast. But overall, you had 2 carbs, which kind of matched with your budget that you had. Definitely not enough protein. So later on that day, you need to add on some protein. But that you need to start playing with that. I mean, obviously the best solution is to follow your meal plan, but sometimes life happens. And to eat food that maybe are not necessarily in your meal plan, it's not the end of the world. You just need to do some damage control in an app like FitnessPal, just to actually look at what was in that splurge or when you went off track, and then you realize that, oh, I just need to have maybe more protein tonight for supper, and I need to slow down on the fat for my next snack or something. But just so I found like if you need to learn and get comfortable with that. Those type of
and that comes with time. Like it doesn't come overnight, and you might find it might take 3-4 weeks to really get into the groove of thing, and then you learn the portions and the variety. We're used to it quite well because that's what we do. But we also realize that for you, that concept is new. However, once you learn it, you probably will never forget it. You'll know exactly. Whether you're in like you said, either at a superstore, in a restaurant, in the airport, on the road, you'll always know, ooh, this is 2 carbs, 1 protein, 2 fat. Do I want it all? No, I'll split. Stuff like that. So it's a skill that you never really lose once you get it. So
and it really when you start like learning it and implementing it, like you'll realize that you'll never get bored with food because you'll be able to eat the food that you actually enjoy and love, and it will just fit. Good. So that's your homework this week. So make sure you comment below if you have any question, and we're always happy to answer them.
Bye.
Bye bye.